Hello everybody at Prop Dog, this is Otter coming back to you again from Sweden and isolation, where I've spent the last 12 weeks and I've slowly started to forget how to speak, so expect a lot of jump cuts in this video. This video is a short review of Impossible by Hank, distributed by Himitsu Magic and Murphy's Magic. Anyway, it's a sort of color matching trick where you hand a spectator a hand of cards with colors on them. You have a matching hand of cards and you take turns. You first put out a card, they put out a card in different configurations, and in the end, magically, the cards match. Now, as anyone who's seen the promo video has seen, it looks amazing. The magician seemingly completely freely puts down cards, carefree. He lets audience members choose whether he should switch them or not. And in the end, still it all matches up and it looks absolutely amazing. Now, not to preclude my opinion on this trick, but in researching this trick, I went to the usual websites that I check up magic on, and particularly on German and French-speaking websites, there were a lot of buzz about that promo video being faked. I would like to say I do not think that promo video was faked. I do, however, think that they filmed a lot of takes, and they used one where the performer got very lucky. That's because this trick has an element of jazz magic to it. It will not be the exact same every time you perform the trick. It feels sort of like an ultra-light version of the trick that cannot be explained, or any number of routines by, for example, Wayne Dobson or Danny D'Ortiz. Now, the method, however, is nothing like any of those other tricks I've just mentioned. It is a much simpler secret behind it all, a secret that magicians and lay people will be familiar with. And I'll come back to that. Now, as for the production, wow, there is a lot to be said here. First of all, the cards are not paper cards, they are plastic, which initially you might think, oh, that's good, if you want to keep them in your wallet or you're in your packet trick wallet or whatever, and use them as a worker. Oh no, oh no, 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 no. These cards are roughed, and I mean roughed. If you've ever owned a pop-eyed popper deck or whatever, oh my, these cards are so rough that I am trying to separate them effectively, and I'm not trying to be obtuse here. These are the most heavily roughed cards I've ever held in my hand. And these cards you're supposed to hand out to the spectator and say, yeah, just shuffle them. And yeah. And then you have to tell the spectator, yeah, just take one card. And it's inevitably going to be more than one card. It's a stumbling block. They have built something that is detrimental to the actual effect into the very few cards that they sell you. And also, the trick is dependent not only on a certain level of jazz magic, but also on a small sleight, a move that you have to make. Not a very complicated one, but again, one that is severely made more difficult by the roughness of the cards. It would have been an easy trick to do had you simply gone with regular lacquered cards rather than these ones. Now, the design of the cards. I can see why you would go for the color theme because it's extremely accessible. Everybody knows colors, everyone can see colors, except people who are colorblind, I suppose. Anyway, however, the back design becomes a problem. Because if you see someone seemingly being able to sort of predict cards, and you have a back design like this, people, and I've tried this on audiences, and they will spontaneously say stuff like, yeah, but aren't they just marked with all these colored squares? Which, ironically, is not the way it's done. Well, not with the colored squares. And one more thing. The cards, the trick is literally the 10 cards that you get. That's it. There's nothing more. There's nothing more to it. They come in this envelope. An envelope, if you turn it over, is stuck together, held together with a small sticker. No problem. You just rip the sticker open, and then you realize that this QR code is the only link to the instructional video that you get. Because you do not get written instructions, you do not get any illustrations. You get this QR code that leads you to a YouTube video, and that's it. And they put that QR code on a sticker that holds the envelope together, and before you know that this is the only way to access the instructions, most people very likely will just rip the sticker apart. Because that's how you get to the product, isn't it? And then we get to the instructional video. The instructional video is... I don't know what to say. It's 11 minutes long. 3 of those minutes are spent looking at the guy preparing the cards that he will use for the instructional video, with no instructional value to it at all. He just marks the cards so that everyone will see what he's doing a bit easier, since he's using the webcam on his laptop. I, at the very least, rigged up my camera to record this. And he didn't even do that. He spent less than 8 minutes of instructional time teaching a trick that requires a sleight and jazz magic, or, well, at least a rather complicated system. And also all the subtleties where the audience members are invited to make choices for the magician are never mentioned in the video. They are not taught, and they are not even alluded to, even though after watching the video, this will probably be the main selling point if you decide to buy that trick. And I'm sorry, that is just not good enough. Making a very, very rough and seemingly improvised instructional video like that, when you have been recommended by David Stone and Takumi Takahashi and any number of other magicians, that's just lazy. I'm sorry, but whoever you are who designed this and produced this, you were lazy, you made strange choices, and you did a bad job. Which is a shame, because this is not a bad trick. This is quite a good trick. I could absolutely see myself doing this trick, but not with these cards, not with the actual product you sent me. Any magician who will see this video and actually learn the rather basic secret behind it would grab a Boris Wilde deck or a Butterfly deck by Andrei Pshenichka or any number of other magicians' decks with the same properties. Or you might even start looking at other tricks that has sort of the same feel to it, like the ESP test by Steve Cook, which I might add also has a rather more evocative theme to it than just base colors. As for the price point, 17 euros, 15 pounds for cards that you most likely will not be using. No. Typically, I blow things up. I go to my workshop and I blow things up if I don't like them. Thing is, I like this trick. This is not a bad trick at all. But the review you've seen now is just about to become longer than the entire instructional video for the trick. A trick that probably should have been included in a book rather than sold as a packet trick. Because as a packet trick, I'm sorry, no. Do I recommend people to buy it? I don't know. Yeah, for some people this will be a good trick. But really, production-wise, this is inexcusable. Thanks, guys. Bye.